Today it's all about Brainrot videos and how Brainrot can actually be used to create a very powerful marketing engine. And today we have an expert with us, Ray. I don't want to say expert at Brainrot, but you are an expert at everything. So I thought for this exciting topic, I need Ray, because if you know computers, you know Brainrot.
You certainly run into it before, right? This is like the class video where, somebody is talking about something, and usually like they have some sort of background video that can be like a video game playing or somebody doing some sort of repetitive activity. And the idea
Yeah,
is
or
sort
like
of
stitching or some random stuff.
yeah, and like disconnecting the way you look from the way that you hear, which I find to be just really interesting as an engagement technique and also as an educational technique. Because if I can, by disconnecting the one, maybe increase receptivity in the other. And like I've seen brain rot education as being a really cool thing, and you've been experimenting with that quite a bit just
I did, I
just
saw
recently.
I did it like yesterday because I was on my For You feed on YouTube Shorts, and there was a channel called AWS Peter. I was looking up how to do AWS for facial recognition and all that kind of stuff. I have a facial recognition pipeline. I was just looking up because they migrated some stuff, some APIs are new. So I was looking into how to set up new facial recognition pipelines with AWS. There are just some videos. And I found there is something called AWS Peter, which is Peter Griffin from Family Guy explaining you how to set up stuff in AWS. And I thought that was hilarious.
That's funny. Is it? It's all in shorts, or they
It's
just have
all in
a couple?
shorts. It's like AWS in 2 minutes.
Okay,
And they
cool.
have like diagrams and like it's really funny. And I was like, my God, we need like a NoCode Peter. And I did a few videos, and I posted one video. The guy who runs AWS Peter, of course, has a vibe coded application. We want to shout him out, or guy or girl. I don't want to assume something here, but he of course has a vibe coded application. It's brainrot.mov. It looks like it was made in like with whatever API, whatever AI tool using Claude. It has like this. Whenever you see purple gradients, you know it's web coded. But but he built that, and it's really cool. Like I built an app with the free credits. I built one video in it. Immediately 1,000 views in like 10 minutes. And I was like, this is great. I posted another one, and it got like 3,700 views in like less than a day. And it got the first 3,000 like within 1 hour. I don't know. And it was educational. Technically, it was an advertisement for Desktop, but it was educational advertisement. So looking at that, is this a trend that's coming back? Because I don't necessarily know of technology being interesting. Like, of course, there's technology. Apple did a new iPhone, and people watch that for leisure. But I don't think people watch the stuff we talk about for leisure. They're like, I'm done with work fighting with my APIs and having to deal with all those headaches of troubles and workflows breaking. Let's sit on the sofa and let's watch some more stuff about the stuff that's making me headaches. Like I don't necessarily think that was a thing before.
The the question is like, how can we bring education to entertainment? Like how can we
Yeah.
be able to bring some of the good stuff, and then also like with the new modalities we have here. This is something I've been doing a lot actually with my children. I'm a father of two boys. They're 11 years old, twins, and trying to figure out like how to be giving them screen time that will be both enjoyable and fun for them, right, while simultaneously moving them forward with the kinds of skills and thinking patterns that I would wish for them. So we don't necessarily, I'm not giving them access like to just sort of raw YouTube, or giving them access to other sort of a brain ruddy type stuff, if you will, but like looking for the things that they want their screen time. But if they're gonna have their screen time, I want to also engage their brain, right? Like I want them to have delicious food that is also nourishing, right?
Yes.
Not just go eat your vegetables the way I think you're supposed to eat your vegetables, but how do we help you want to eat your vegetables? Because the vegetables make you healthier, but like how do you make that into something that's going to be a great experience? And a good cook can do that. But the good cook knows about the materials they're using, knows about their ingredients. And the ingredients we have when we're like doing the video, portrait video on your phone are not the same as having a tablet, or not the same as what you do with TV, right? Or is also not the same as what you'd have on like a desktop, like we're doing this right now. I think we're both on our laptops right now. And that difference in medium then drives what we need to do, I think, with the message. And that's why I think what you're doing here with Brainrot stuff is so interesting, because this is where like if you're going to have like these easily flippable, highly engaging, certainly very addictive, little short videos, how can we give people that which they want, which is their brains operating at that level, while simultaneously elevating them. And that's an opportunity. And I'm sure there are lots of people who are just going to go for the candy no matter what. But if we can be giving something that's both, delicious, but also nourishing, I think there's real juice
But
there.
I
And yeah.
but I think there's a point to be made. If we look at the economy right now that is happening on those social media platforms, if you look at the applications who are making the most money on the App Store right now, they are either Brainrot or using Brainrot for advertisement. My favorite example of all are those short drama apps. It costs 20,000 to 30,000 to produce, some are 100,000 if they're high quality, but on average it's like 30,000 to produce a 1 hour long movie, those drama movies. And an average movie pulls in about 300,000 in subscription revenue.
Okay.
And they have high profit margins, and it's really badly made. But it works because the way they build, I don't know if you know those applications, if you see them also on your, probably they're just targeting Gen Z. But every time I go on TikTok, I'm like getting all those random drama series on my phone. And I ended up subscribing to one of those services because they filmed the movie in the house I used to live in. I was like, okay. I gotta subscribe to that now. I was like, I know that sink. I know the kitchen. I know the bedroom.
That's kind of wild.
I thought that was wild too. Yeah, and because it turns out some of my neighbors who used to do e-commerce, they kind of like moved into now doing those drama series because there are no tariffs on them, and they just had to, invest in other ventures.
Yeah,
they were doing e-commerce before. But I thought that was hilarious, and I just subscribed, and I was like, this is interesting. They just create those movies, but like in a movie there is always a peak at some point where it gets really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And a good movie has like one or two of those peak moments. Their goal is to have in 1 hour as many as those peak moments as possible. And then it's like TikTok. It's like every movie is like a 2-minute segment that you can scroll to the next one. And it costs money to unlock the next segment, the next scroll. So you're paying with coins.
Oh my goodness.
I spent like $200 on that. I was really curious. I wanted to see the movie they filmed in my house, and at the moment I was done, I think I was done spending another coin, so I just like purchased like, I don't know, it was like $100 a month subscription to watch. People pay for that. They're making like 300 million or so on the App Store with those ads, with those applications. And what they do is they know people have short attention spans, and when you have lots of peaks in those advertisement in the content that you're watching, people could keep watching. And when you then stop at every episode, because every episode has a peak, you want to go to the next one. And I thought that's very interesting. How can we do this for our videos? Because compared to what they're doing, the stuff that we're doing seems pretty boring.
Yeah, there's an aspect of what's making people eat their vegetables, and there's I think bringing it to shorts definitely makes it a little bit more candy-ish, right?
Yeah.
So a little more delicious. I certainly find that like I get a lot of a lot more views on the shorts, like because I've got shorts that are coming out every day now. I've got shorts both from the chairlift as well as like clips from our thing here, and then but even so, that's like what on a per video basis is like 1/10 of what you're showing here on this on this. And it sort of shows just how much juice there can be in like just sort of taking taking the tastiness up another level.
I thought about, I mean, I'm experimenting with the Peter thing. I'm experimenting now with a few other things as well. I'm trying to copy the success of those short drama apps, and because their advertisement are like the teasers of the movie, so they don't have to create advertisement. They just take a part of the movie, put it in there, run an ad. I was like, this is interesting. I'm trying to kind of like create some dramatic scenes to start a movie as a hook, like with VO3. So I'm trying to clone myself so it kind of like looks like me in VO3 in a scene like, I don't know, the apocalypse is coming, we need to act now. And then this is the VO3 video, and then it does a cut and that says, yes, this can happen when you don't protect your APIs correctly. It's a concept. You got to draw it. You need it. I need to show it to you. I got to experiment more because right now I have like 5 fingers. No, I have like 7 fingers and like 3 eyes, and it just doesn't look that good, me as an AI character yet. But I'm experimenting with it, and I'm trying to automate it. And then I'm trying to get that as a hook because people, we need to make it more interesting. And I think AI is a great way how we can get more engagement into our content, especially when we're doing shorts.
Yeah. Well, I think also, I mean, you and I have done a lot of work around like, low code, no code tools.
Cameron said, I'm here for the brain rot.
Yeah, I hear that. And like, it's just, it's about the medium, right? It's like something that I often tell people like in state change, do it wrong. It's okay to do it wrong, because that means we're doing it and we're making progress in a way that we weren't before. And I think there's a lot of, it's very easy to get into a judgment circle or judgment, sort of vicious cycle, right? And like, oh, I'm not going to ship it because I'm not sure I'm doing it quite the right way, and I don't want to be showing the world I'm making mistakes. But like, then you can, but by doing things in sort of weird new ways, we get to unlock, potentially really useful ways we can improve the world, and like you're teaching, you've taught, a few thousand people who are, potentially not people who would have otherwise known about like, Nordcraft and React.
Peter Griffin and Stewie were also making a video yesterday on my YouTube channel about Nordcraft versus React.
Yep. I don't know what the legal implications are for it, because it's definitely
that is a good point. I think it's fair use if you put it together. If not, I'll be definitely filming any people trying to serve me a lawsuit here and make content out of it.
Yeah, but even so, like I've been doing.
I think we're just too small to get a lawsuit.
That's also, I think, reasonable point. But for me, it's like, okay, what is it about Subway Surfer or the what's the other thing in there? It's usually like Subway Surfer and Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
Right. And and like what is that makes them attractive, and sort of like the procedural generation, I think, really part of that. Yeah. I've been doing some work around 3JS with my hackathon partner to create those kinds of backgrounds, or create the ability to go between backgrounds.
That would be great. Like you can make a video editor just for Brainrot. Like think CapCut, but only for Brainrot with the appropriate templates, where you can upload a link to a long YouTube video like we're doing here, and it automatically creates Brainrot clips, like Brainrot on demand or Brainrot AI, something like that.
Right. And the other aspect we're bringing to it, and this is we solved one part of it relatively well, and so it's the background video we're having trouble with, because the Subway Surfer legal problems, right? And like, sure, you can throw up Subway Surfer, but like what we want to do is have it be procedurally generated so it can be owned and not have the copyright
implications. I don't necessarily think that there's a trademark implication when you use the Subway Surfer, because there are people monetizing, there are streamers on YouTube who are just filming themselves play Subway Surfer, and they're commenting that, and they're monetized.
Well, yeah, but then what you're really doing is that's them recording themselves, right? As opposed to these other videos, which are pretty clearly using the addictive quality of Subway Surfer, right, to hypnotize hypnotize at least the visuals, right, of the individual, to get them to listen to the other. But actually, it made some pretty compelling videos this way. And like I said, I'm trying to get the three, and using 3JS, right, to procedurally generate 3D scenes, which has gotten much better. We're using Git MCP.
But how would you create this as a video? How would you, because 3JS is like something you run client side, right?
Yes, but you can run it on the node side and run one frame at a time and extract the frames into the video that then goes into FFmpeg.
Now we're
Right?
talking about something that will kill my Xano instance.
Well, that's not something you can do in a Xano. You need something that's got more horsepower than that.
Google Cloud Run it is.
GCR, yeah, GCR is great for this kind of job. In fact, I do actually quite a lot of video processing for like the state change, office hours and all those things, and like all that processing stuff I do through GCR provides lots of horsepower for it, and it's super cheap. But because have that all going already, like, hey, just use FFmpeg, and then be able to start put these things together. It's a bit of tech. I don't mean to confuse it like being super low code, but it's not that much code, and the AI does help out with it. And then the other half is like, okay, so what are we going to teach? And instead of writing the script myself, I'm taking things like computer science papers from arXiv, right? And saying, okay, here's a computer science paper from arXiv, a PDF, and let's break it down. Let's figure out 5 big ideas in it. And then for each of those ideas, let's make a 1 minute, actually make it more like a 2-minute Brainrot, or 2-minute, subject to a couple of rules, engaging a description, right, of the big idea. And then play that back. One of the keys to it is play it back at 1.5 speed. And then it gets into about a minute. And then combine that with the background, have the text going across, and you've got yourself a Brainrot combination. Now, it's not Stewie and Peter, right? Because we're trying to use a voice. Because one of my concerns is sort of making sure you don't hit the copyright issues, because I want it to be able to be successful without having that challenge. But that combination is allowing us to take really complicated ideas, like papers are being academic papers and preprints.
You gotta invent new characters with AI.
But I actually also really loved your approach to doing the conversation, because right now we're just doing it as a monologue, and the idea of like having it be a back and forth, I love that idea, and getting it to write that script.
You want us to show the video I made yesterday at the risk of getting demonetized because we're using copyrighted characters?
I think it's fine. Yeah, let's show the video, but also I would love it if you could show your approach to writing the script.
Sure. I mean, I just had ChatGPT to write the script, but
well, that also there's a lesson in there. So let's start by showing the video.
Stewie, you're gonna laugh at this. I just paid. Hey, Stewie, you're gonna laugh at this. I just paid $500,000 for a mobile app. Some guy told me he built it in Capacitor.
Oh, good Lord, Peter. Capacitor is just a framework that lets you build mobile apps using web tech, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then wrap them so they run on iOS and Android.
Wait, so that's like not fancy?
No, Peter, it's not fancy. It's meant to be cost-effective. You can absolutely build solid apps with it, but not for $500,000.
Oh my God, so I got ripped off?
Quite. If you wanted something faster and cheaper, you could have even used a low-code platform like Tespia Native. Those exist specifically to make building apps cheaper, not to drain your bank account.
So I could have paid like a couple grand?
Precisely. These frameworks are designed to save you money, Peter, not give some bloke a new yacht.
Oh, crap.
You can see it's in advertisement. But it did work well. It got like 4,000 views.
That's I like it as an ad, although the fact that it's an ad creates its own sort of challenges. But would you mind sharing like how the approach you took to writing the script? Because that script as a dialogue, I thought had some nice touch to it, and I think other people might value seeing how that works.
Sure. Let me share with you this amazing web application that I'm using. Oh my God, I may not be able to do that because I'm using Dia, and Dia, I have not given Dia permission to use my computer. So let me do a screenshot, and I'll be talking very visually. Let me just.
Oh, again, I'm using the GPT app is for too, sir. Oh, because you're in Dia, right? So you can't do more with right?
Yeah. Let's go back here. Let's add a media element. Okay, media will be coming. Okay. You'll see that? That's how the interface looks of Brainrot MOV. And let's see if I can customize that here. Look at that. I can even make it. That's nice. Okay. So it's already built to be a monologue in that interface. I mean, he obviously vibe coded that. You can see that on the interface. But I think it's great application. Great job. Congratulations. Because I'm paying for it now.
Yeah.
I probably could have built this myself in a day, but why spend a day if I can pay $50 to not spend a day,
And now we're getting to the build buy dynamics. That's cool. Okay, so do you have to sort of paste these things in one at a time, or are you sort of pasting like a full script, or how'd that work?
You got to add one by one.
Yeah.
Because it's vibe coded. They didn't have the person who built that didn't think of having like the whole thing AI generated. So I got to work within some limitation constraints here. But I just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's the topic. Make it look like an authentic conversation between Stewie and Peter. And if you may ask yourself why I choose Stewie and Peter, it's just because it's the only option that the application has. So, if I'm getting a lawsuit for trademark violations, I'll be forwarding that to brainrot.mov. But please don't sue me. But I'm just pasting those in there, and then I'll just click play, and they're probably running that in GCR as well. And then I get the video like this.
Hey, Stewie, you're going to laugh at this.
And that's Brainrot, professional Brainrot for educational purposes only.
Yep. And I love the use of it for education. That's sort of, that's something you and I both do, right? All the time.
To be fair, I saw the original on X. My X feed is wild. So that I saw like a conversation of Stewie and Peter where they talked about printers and how the government is spying on people using printers, and that there's a hidden agenda behind it. But the person who made that video was way better than I did, because he actually made their lips move and he made it look like it's a real scene. So like, that's probably more being of a copyright violation than what I'm doing, but yeah.
And bigger stuff, but I think even just the level you have. In fact, I really like the simplicity of it, because I kind of wonder if it work even well, like not showing Stewie and Peter, right? Just having the voices and having the memory connection without having the Fox Corporation come after you.
I think they'll probably come after me for the voices as well, but
yeah, I think figuring out how to do this well, I think there's a lot in there, because the that 60-second time frame associated with like a YouTube short or a TikTok or whatever, there's just a wonderful opportunity to to teach and to come out not so much dumber, which is very possible after spending a little bit of time on shorts, but maybe hopefully a little bit smarter.
Yes, the majority of my shorts are like yours.
Okay, that was a dip. The worst of my videos are like yours, Ray. No, but I hear what you're saying. Like sort of talk to the camera, about your idea. Has a certain eat your vegetables aspect to it, and like, but getting creative about this stuff, I think is there's some real cool stuff in there.
My TikTok is though completely different. I don't know. I have no influence over that algorithm. It's the majority. The majority of my TikTok are advertisements for those drama apps, and I'm so brainwashed by them. I'm actually considering making my own. I'm already talking about licensing those movies.
Yeah. Well,
I need some help. Remember when I was like, Ray, I need help with HLSG. It'll be a great Despia case study. We just need to get some good deals on the negotiations for those licenses.
Yeah. The this sort of this widens the universe, right? Like how can we be one, educating, but two, also spreading the word, right? In a way today, in a way that we couldn't before. I've been talking to sales professionals. Yeah.
I'm thinking about building an application that's like my feed.
Yeah.
So where you can put in topics that are interested in for you. And it's actually why I built this. And kind of like started goofing around with it, because first of all, we're going to launch a native video player inside of Despia for mobile applications. So I need stuff to show it off, because the biggest limitation of Despia definitely was video playback. That really sucked. But because, I'm working on building a drama app and all that kind of stuff, we needed good video support for myself, because last time I mentioned already, all major decisions for Despia are because of what I need, not necessarily because of what customers need, even though, of course, we listen to them. But, it's because of what I need, because I'm my biggest user. And I need good video playback. So we already have that feature built in where it actually has very great video playback, almost like native. And this is why I was like, I need to build a TikTok component that I can use for my application anyway. So why don't, make a video and make something that people can download from the App Store to test it out and convince how great Despia actually works in those use cases. And the app is something that I want to be where you put in some interests that interest you, and it starts building a feed where you get videos so it's like TikTok, but only for you. And it's AI generated. I stole that idea from Elon Musk because he said he's wanted to bring Vine back, and he's making all AI generated with Grok. And I was like, that's a great idea. Let me do that too.
Right, and then to what end? Like, what are you sort of looking at being able to teach? I
just need something that looks good on the App Store. That is a great case study for Despia to show that you can build good video playback in it.
Okay, fair enough.
But it probably involves in something else, because I think it's a pretty cool idea having, personalized videos. Let's say you want to learn about something. Why don't have an application where you put the topic you want to learn about and you learn through Brainrot?
And then have it create the Brainrot for you. Like,
AI would generate a few videos every day for that topic, so you can just scroll through it and learn as you're scrolling. So it's like personalized content. I think this is really where the market is going, because if you think about it, you're using Suno. You love Suno. And this is AI for one. Like, the content that you're generating in Suno, your country songs about NoCode, not necessarily my taste, even though I love the messaging, but it's not really my taste. So you're developing that, you're building, you're creating that content for yourself because it's something that you enjoy. I was like, we should do that for videos. You should have a personalized video feed with AI content only for you. That is just like your taste.
I think there's really something to that. Like AI can create both content as well as code, as opposed to low code, so just creating code. And that idea of the market of one, I think, is really, really important to get a lot of value out of it. Because the reason why we talk about AI slop is because it's designed for engagement and to appeal to a broad base of people. But if it's just targeting you, that's, higher. It can be AI generated and high quality through doing what the AI can do that no human could afford to do, which is make content that's just specifically for you. Because if it's a human being making it, I have to need to make it for enough people that they will actually be able to pay me for my time.
Yeah, and Cameron said there's a huge wave of using Brainrot for educational purposes. I'm a consumer.
Yep, me too.
There you go. So I think it's the messaging is definitely changing, because when we used to talk about educational things, they used to be serious. But now, with everything getting less and less serious, I think this is the way to go, how to educate. So I don't know if my videos will still be relevant in a few years for everybody who's just learning from Brainrot on TikTok, but we'll see. We'll be riding the wave.
We will be, and I think it's also a really good point that, like, it for your videos to be successful, you don't need them to be continuing to add value in 20 years, right? Your payback period is much shorter, both because of the form factor, but also because we get to use AI for doing this. And even more, it's like, wait, but the video that was made for, Cameron, the guy who just did the comment, and the video that's made specifically for him won't be useful for you in 5 years, but might be still useful for him because of that level of customization.
Yeah, and I found when I trying to learn about a complex topic, I'm just going on ChatGPT voice mode and talk to it. It's just way easier than reading something, just having that conversation. And something I say, explain this to me in a conversation of this person talking to me. And I'm like, why don't like this in video with some visuals would be great. Right. And then maybe we can turn database indexing into a 30-minute short drama TV vertical show that you can scroll through and pay per episode.
I shudder to think what that 30-minute TV show looks like, but yeah, no, I can totally see that happening.
It's essentially like a 30-minute movie in 30 segments. It's interesting.
And of course you design.
You just gotta change your age on TikTok. Change it like to 25 or something, and you'll see all the ads.
Oh, I just need to become a Zer. Okay. I'm a couple adrift from Z. That's cool. There's just a lot of potential in here, and and I think it is like the low code stuff and like the AI code stuff, because there are a bunch of people who will say, but wait, that's not the way that it's done. But the way that's done is about context. And I think the question is, how can you make things happen that couldn't have happened before?
I think we should ask ChatGPT. I think we should ask ChatGPT in voice mode right now about the legality of the Peter stuff I'm doing.
Sure, if you want to go for that.
ChatGPT, I'm making Brainrot content on YouTube for educational purposes. And I'm featuring the voices of Peter Griffin and Stewie Griffin with their images to make videos about educating people on how APIs work and how web development works. It's an original piece that is edited, and it features a background of Subway Surfers, like a game recording. Will I get in legal troubles for that? I'm in the state of California.
So basically mixing a bunch of different elements together, like the voices of Peter and Stewie Griffin, a little Subway Surfer footage in the background, and then you do an educational concept on top of that. It's kind of a fun mashup. Now, in terms of legal stuff, generally when you're using recognizable characters and voices like Peter and Stewie, you have to be a little bit careful because those are copyrighted characters and they're owned by the creators of Family Guy. And similarly, Subway Surfers is a game, so that footage is also technically someone else's content. In a lot of cases, people rely on fair use, especially if it's transformative, like you're adding a lot of educational commentary and you're making something new out of it. But fair use is always a bit of a gray area, and it can depend on the specifics. So short version, it's possible you could get a claim, like a copyright claim on YouTube, or maybe a content ID match. It's not necessarily that you're going to get into legal trouble, but you might want to just be prepared that you could have some kind of copyright issue. Maybe have a backup plan, or just kind of be aware of that as you go. But a lot of people do this kind of thing and just navigate it as it comes.
And that, my lawyer just spoke.
That was a really lucid, good explanation. I don't know if the conclusion is right, but it is that was remarkable, and a great demonstration of voice mode in ChatGPT.
Imagine I could watch now a Brainrot video with Peter and Stewie that is customized in my mobile application, explaining me why this is what I'm doing is illegal, or why it is technically on a gray area.
I think that constitutes asking for trouble, but yeah, sure. That actually sounds like a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm seeing them all over the place. I think they're going after the people making videos with Stewie and Griffin about why the government is using printers to monitor you or whatever. That use that to provide those kinds of things. I think they're going after them first, and then it's us. But then, we already stopped. We're already on the next character.
Yep.
If not, we got to use Mickey Mouse. It's fair use now.
I love it. When I look at like the Brainrot MOV, which is a website for the thing you're just showing, I gotta say the biggest downside I see isn't really the copyright thing, although it was the first thing I thought about. It's just how much work it was to create all those, line by lines, as opposed to just.
I think he's not doing it. He's not capitalizing it. This market has potential.
Yeah.
And if he can like just like dump in a YouTube video link, and I'll make like 50 Brainrot videos, and I just use your credits, right? I'll be in a mansion. In a Brainrot mansion.
Yeah, certainly being able to slice it into the YouTube video, slice it into like the scene videos or the scene videos. But also I think they're the just sort of take a bunch of content and then pour it in there. I gotta say, like, this whole thing has got me much more jazzed for this project I have been working on, sort of laid down, because okay, the videos can take a little bit to go. By the way, how long does it take for it to process video and actually deliver it to you?
On Brainrot MOV, it takes like 10 to 15 minutes. It's quite a while.
Yeah. Well, video processing is slow, so that part doesn't totally surprise me. I want to know, if I want to benchmark what
I think he may be faster if he uses like an API, but he'll be paying like an, like they're like AI video, they're like video editing APIs, right? Like that are made to be fast. Like, what was it? Convert, I forgot the name. But I was paying like $300 for one, like a while ago when I was building a SaaS, but I don't think everybody wants to pay $300 a month for like so and so many hours of video processing if you can do it for free on your own server.
Yeah, I was able to get it to go about 1-to-1 speed when I was just jamming audio with the background video. The thing that really drives up the cost is are the captions, because it has to recalculate each frame.
I mean, for captions, you can use something on Replicate where it just does the captions, and it's pretty cheap. Replicate has a model.
So the captioning, you can throw up the captioning, but if you want the captioning to be part of the video, part of the frames of the video, being one way or the other, there's somebody who's got to be doing the hard work of like reprocessing each frame. It's not about the difficulty of it. It's actually relatively straightforward from a code point of view, but the computational intensity of it, I think, drives up the time for it. What are you going to show us, man? We are a little in the corner.
The video is still loading. It says 42%. Now it's at 67. I made another video where it's me talking, not Peter Griffin, because I got a little bit concerned about your concerns about copyright. But you'll love that video because I'm just having like, I don't know, Minecraft below me. So like, you'll love it. Look at that.
Plugins are an absolute piece of shit, and here is why. If you build your whole application on top of a plugin for authentication, for anything, especially core plugins, your whole foundation of your application is now built on something that is an abstraction of all the things that you need. Let me give you an example. If you're using, for example, the Supabase package inside of Nordcraft, the only settings that it lets you edit is your anon key and the project URL. Now, what happens if you want to change how the cookie is set? And there are some use cases where you want to change the content protection policy. You can't do that. As you can see right here, there is this, the strict that is preset, but I can't edit it because the plugin doesn't link it dynamically to the settings that the plugin exposes. Meaning you have lots of configurations that you can tap into because the plugin author thinks a certain way about how you should build an application, meaning you're limiting yourself in what you can do by using those plugins. Now, sometimes actually the code that they abstract is minimal. For example, with Supabase authentication, it's as simple as running an API call. Just this call, you could copy and paste it, and then you can set it up yourself. Of course, it'll take 10 minutes with the help of ChatGPT to understand how to set it up if you're doing it the first time. But I think those 10 minutes are very worth it because that is an investment towards the future of your application. The moment you use a plugin, you have to rebuild the whole core again, at least the moment your requirements change. So why not start the right way?
It's at the right, if I get cut off.
No,
I'm kind of like bringing in those elements that move because people think my content is boring, which it is. It's educational. Education is always a little bit boring if you're not a geek. So we're trying to make it less geeky.
Do you actually get comments that your that your content is boring?
No, but when I look at my content, I'm like, this is very, very educational. It's not something people watch in their free time unless their free time consists out of building a startup on their site. My videos are the content is like you're trying to build the SaaS on the site. You watch it in your leisure time when you're building the SaaS on your site. I'm not doing videos like how to build an online agency and make millions of dollars, because I think you can't do those videos. It's garbage. It's bullshit. So, like, it's not like, this flashy, highly edited content. My videos are very unedited because it's about the core. It's about the information. It's not about the editing, right? Like, my videos are not in the style of Alex Hormozy because the way I teach is by sharing my screen, not by putting stuff on a whiteboard, right?
That's a fair point. So, we were talking about like the method for building those things. We showed the Brainrot.mov. What were you using for this video?
For this video, I just edited in CapCut.
Okay, so we just use CapCut editing, and then like you just sort of sliced it up so that you could. And does CapCut have sort of a built-in feature that makes it easy to use the the bump thing, or how hard
It
was
was all
that?
manually edited.
And the whole shaky thing you had going on yourself, that was also
like
manually
with
edited?
the camera tracking. Yeah, it was like lots of movements. Everybody has now the attention span of a goldfish, so gotta get things moving. If I'm not moving for a second, they're going to scroll away. Maybe I think I overdid it with the last video, because when I look at it, I'm getting a little bit dizzy.
It was a lot of motion, but I certainly take your point. Like that is what a lot. Some of the other videos I've seen sort of in that vein look like. And then where do you get the bottom part from?
The bottom part?
Yeah,
inspect elements on Brainrot.mov's preview.
Oh, you just scrape video. Okay, cool.
I mean, I guess I'm just assuming that if they have it on their website and I'm having a paid subscription, then I'm free to use that content. If someone doesn't agree with that, please send any documents to my PO address.
Oh, I have the feeling that like the use of that content and the Peter and Stewie and the Minecraft and the Subway Surfer that it's probably not perfect for you, but I bet it's Brainrot MOV is in a lot more trouble than you are, right? Because
that
they're
is
the ones
fantastic. Look at that. I'm just telling them I'm just using this tool.
But that's cool. So you were sharing a little about the Brainrot MOV one. You made a couple of them. How long did it take you to make one of those videos?
It took me like 5 to 10 minutes. Like the processing was the thing that took the longest. But I just while the first one was processing, I was making the second one.
Fair enough. But in terms of process, the process we're talking about, those 5 to 10 minutes, that was you talking to ChatGPT to come up with a script, opening, setting up the project, putting in the text, and then pressing the button. Presumably, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did your CapCut experience look like? Because I'm sure there are people who have thought about, hey, this CapCut thing, and they've seen ads for that on
CapCut was like it was easier than Final Cut Pro. I have like Final Cut Pro. I paid like $300 or so for it. Never used it because it was just way too complex for me. CapCut is perfect.
Yeah.
I can do it on my computer. I can do it on my phone. I got access to lots of copyright songs. My content may be used for AI training. I'm completely fine with that. So I'm all good.
Cool. And then how long did it take you to make it in CapCut?
That was like 25 minutes to edit the video and all that.
Okay. That's not terrible. And like so you cut the roll. Did you do that monologue specifically for this video, or this thing you ripped it from another one?
I just did the monologue specifically for the video because I looked at the Nordcraft Nord-based package and I was like a little bit. I was like, this is like, why are people using that? Like, you're going to have an integration for your authentication system, and it doesn't let you configure some of the core authentication mechanisms. Like, it's like you got to do it this way, and the plugin doesn't let you have any flexibility in how you do it. I was like, why would anybody build their authentication on top of that? But quite a lot of people actually did, and they were coming to me with problems because they were like, I need to adjust the way the cookie is set, and then you couldn't. So they already had their whole authentication stuff built on top of this plugin, but then it didn't work because they wanted to do specific things with it. So they essentially have to rip it out now and, put the API call in there or clone the plugin and then adjust it to their need, which usually I found those plugins don't help people. They just help people feel like they're getting started fast, but you're not getting started fast when you use a plugin for any NoCode tool. Besides Bubble, because you have to.
Okay. So that's what we've been building so far, right? And like these are like new experiments. You're sort of bursting onto the scene with this stuff, and I think there's definitely a there's a trend that we've both been tapping into a bit with this Brainrot or shorts, whatever, for education. And
I want to see your Brainrot on stage change. We're going to have like a little Ray cartoon figure, like talking with his mouth and like with an animation.
I'm going to be talking with my mouth. How else would I talk? But yes,
like you could do it like Peter and just have your mouth like this, and nobody knows that you're talking because it's just a still image.
That's an option. Sure, we'll go with that. But yeah, you're right. Like I would love to. I like I say, I have been working in this field, but like, man, that's some cool stuff. And now I want to go play more with it because I think there's just an opportunity to teach more. Frankly, I mean, far more advanced topics. Like the success of just. I mean, I like the Stewie and Peter stuff. I think that's very cool. I like the notion of making it into a dialogue. I want to get into that. But the even like the first round of what Akshay and I were doing is just saying there is something here.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that.
I mean, I saw some Brainrot videos. There were like there was like a Brainrot video about like promoting some vibe coding tool, and like it was like politicians. They essentially, it was like our current president Donald Trump and Joe Biden talking about vibe coding, and I was like, they'll probably be in more trouble than I am with Stewie.
Well, yeah, the different tools that President Trump might bring to bear, right? But I also wanted to ask, like, you've been experimenting with a couple of these things. What are you excited about? I mean, we're heading towards like the sort of the last segment, I think, of our time together today. What's next? Like what like this stuff has gotten you excited? You were playing with the Capca thing. You're playing with the Brainrot MOV thing. Is it making more of these? Is it you're thinking there's another turn of the wheel? What's in store for the YouTube channel, or at least for your experiments with it in the coming week, whether you ship it or not?
I think it'll be probably what's happening to your channel. I think there'll be more shorts. I mean, you haven't been posting that many long form videos in the past few weeks, months,
That's
2 years.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to have like one real video a day. Now I'm trying to step a little bit away from having one full video a day. I'm trying to do one short a day, at least more shorts, and then focus on the quality of the video, because I don't want to just give you a mountain of videos. When I do a video, I want to make sure it provides actual value and it's very high quality. That is important, because I've been running out of video ideas, and my list says like set up authentication in 15 minutes in Nordcraft. Now I'm just like, you see, I'm desperate of video ideas. I'm just, trying to repurpose stuff I did in 1 hour and just talk a little bit faster to it in 15 minutes. So I need some new ideas. And this is by focusing on new topics. I don't want to do any more how to make gradients on a button. Like, okay, cool, gradients, and how to make them dynamically loaded from your database. Cool, but who needs dynamically loaded gradients on your button from your database, right? So now I want to make like how to make an AI Brainrot generator inside of Nordcraft and Xano. How to make this. I want to, give those examples and make like 1 hour videos or 2 hour videos, 3 hour videos where I'm walking people step by step on how to set those things up, and I'm having people, just shadow me, and they can follow along with the video to build great stuff.
I think it makes so much sense. Like there's some rule of thumb of the YouTube algo that's like, a video of roughly like 10 to 12 minutes, kind of like the sweet spot for it. But I don't know about you. I find myself watching, and of course I'm watching too many videos, but I'm either watching a video that's like an hour in length plus, or I'm watching shorts. And like that, I think that split that you're.
Yeah, I'm not really watching any like 5 minute, 10-minute videos. It's like 1 to 2 hours, or it's like you scroll, right? It's like there's no middle ground. So what's the point of making a video? Like there's so many people making videos. Nordcraft is making videos about how to do this in Nordcraft. Why do I need to show people how to do this in Nordcraft? There is going to be theoretical knowledge that the moment they know, they forget because it's not important to them. But if someone wants to build a membership application out there, they don't necessarily need to know on how to do concatenation. It'll be part of it. And this is what I think is important. If you make videos about, how to put two strings together, and that's your part of a video, your audience, the audience that you're getting is someone who wants to put two strings together in Nordcraft, that already knows how to solve the problem. But if you make videos how to build a mobile application in Nordcraft, how to make a vibe code application generator in Nordcraft, how to build this in Nordcraft, you're targeting specific audiences, and they're going to be more likely to convert because they know how great my help is and join office hours.
Yeah, I think
they already know. I know how to set it up, and now they're stuck at it, right?
Right. Well, and that kind of brings me back around to like another thing about the Brainrot videos, which is when the Brainrot video does not involve you, how does it help with your marketing?
That's a good point. I thought about having the Peter Stewie dialogue and just putting me in the corner doing like I saw that on TikTok, people do.
Sure.
Maybe I can have the hook be Peter and Stewie having a discussion, and then I go into the video and like duet it and like.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate like the system is what it is, but I start thinking about like, could you be having a conversation with Stewie?
Oh, that's a good idea. I gotta cartoonify myself with some AI.
And something like that. And I think the Peter and Stewie stuff certainly what was attracting my ear, but I find that the key to Brainrot is this disconnect between the eye and the ear. You're learning through the ear and you're kind of being entertained through the eye. And that's the reason why your whole shaky cam thing was the way it was, trying to create more entertaining looking at you, but they're sort of also discouraging me from looking at you and having me look at the Brainrot thing in the bottom instead, right? And then the background thing as well. It's like, would this work without the Stewie and Peter thing? And I think the answer, I don't know for sure, but I think the answer is yes. I think that's a lot of what creates a draw.
I'll be experimenting with it. I'll be doing it right after this video. I'll be filming some Brainrot videos with me behind a roller coaster, or some random stuff that moves. Or someone stitching in the background, or someone baking cake, or whatever.
Yep, your voice, something like. Also, when you're doing the CapCut, are you doing any intro outro stuff?
No.
Okay. You're sort of going straight. It's a scene, and then the scene cuts at the end 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's a very interesting topic, Brainrot content, social media content in general. It's definitely changing. I think a few years ago, if you want to, I think everything about professional business and professional companies have become less professional over the past few years. And it's the way to do it. Like if you look at the biggest social media teams from Apple, from the biggest companies, Fortune 500 companies, like if you look at their social media, it looks like I could have run that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's on a very personal level. It doesn't look corporate. It doesn't look like, hey, we got really, we got billions of dollars and we got only the best. It looks like, hey, we're paying someone $5,000 a month to maintain this whole social media thing here.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to look like that on purpose, and they're probably paying millions of dollars to make it look like they're paying $5.
Paying a whole lot so that it looks like stumbling even when it's dancing. I think that's a good point. But also I think there's a lot of they are trying to avoid being wrong. And I see that a lot in corporate media, and I actually see a lot in startups too. A big fear of being wrong, and they don't want to put out something that like would potentially get criticism. But the kind of work you're doing, even though we've had lots of, hey, here's how we might be able to out better a little bit, like you're out there and you are educating and bringing value to the market in a way that that other people aren't, and we just need to be figuring out how we can use these channels to
I do receive criticism. People are saying, what you're doing in the video is not safe. This doesn't meet cybersecurity best practices. My response to that is, if you're really concerned about cybersecurity, you can join State Change or NoCode ProCode, or better, both. YouTube is not. I loved how when we're talking with Mitch at State Change Marketing Office Hours, back in that time, I was telling people everything on YouTube. And I said to Mitch, I love doing YouTube videos. I love educating people. And I want to do this. And I'm just giving them everything on YouTube. And then Mitch said, you're not running a nonprofit. You got to make money. So make the video a very interesting hook, and then you get them to sign up for your office hours where you give them the last bite. And that really stuck with me. I think that was like a year or a year, 1.5 years ago or so. And
sure.
Still to this day, I can see him saying that. And that was like a paradigm shift for me when he said, you're not running a charity. You're not running a nonprofit. So be smart and run this like a businessman.
Right. It needs to serve the job. It needs to do the job of marketing. It needs to help. And there needs to be a flow of income in order for you to be able to afford to continue to do this.
Yeah.
That said, though, like the idea, like, hey, you do it through providing service to people. I think there's just a lot of merit to that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the moment where, some people were like, it's just advertisement. Don't post that in the Nordcraft channel. I was like, if I'm not posting that advertisement, there won't be any more Nordcraft videos.
Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk's model for this is jab, 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 right hook. And where each jab is like the free stuff you're putting into the market. And then the right hook is when you are, giving them, when you basically make the ask, hey, by the way, I do this for a living. And like, I think mixing that up and that ratio of 3 to 1 feels about right to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm learning from the best. Not Mitch, you and Mitch, like both. I don't want to offend him.
I was about to say, Mitch is. Let's make clear who the marketing expert is in that particular conversation. Mitch Van Dusen, by the way, is a wonderful marketing expert, and people should be reaching out to him for that. This has been absolutely delightful, man. We should. I think maybe we should even do this every week.
About Brainrot?
Well, we could do Brainrot every week.
I mean, we're already doing our office hours every week, but
we will and I've real love that, like, this time around we were focusing on issues of marketing. Like, so often our discussions are a little more technical, but it's like using technology to actually help people's business move forward. I think we might have made a real impact on people that way.
I think if we keep talking about technical stuff in those open office hours, I don't think it's going to provide people that much value, because most of the people, they're already knowing what they're building. Us talking about why you shouldn't use Supabase for that specific use case is not going to convince someone who's already using Supabase for that specific use case. And someone who's using Xano is already convinced, and someone who's using WeWeb is already convinced. Same for whatever tool they're currently doing. I think the most value that we can actually provide is tell people how they can get out there and get some reach. Because I was thinking about it, like we got a comment last time about the job market and how to market yourself, and I think those are the things that we should be talking more, because I don't talk about that on my YouTube channel, and you don't talk about that necessarily on your YouTube channel. And I think there's some value that we can provide to people that is something that they don't necessarily know that we know.
That is, I think, a pretty good point. Let's be doing that for next time too. Oh yeah, and I think we got
the idea of doing this weekly content marketing reach. Love the thoughts and concepts.
All right, we got a vote.
There you go. So we're doing it. So what's our topic next week?
What is our topic next week? Is it going to be more, maybe more discussion? The question from last week was about employment, so it's going to be a little more about the idea of the personal brand.
Yeah, I need some help with my personal brand from you.
And I probably need some help with the personal brand too. In fact, I'm pretty sure we all do. And we'll
maybe we should can we get Mitch inside of here?
That's a really good idea. Let's see what we can do.
I think that would be, because like he's going to rip us both apart live, and I think that would be very entertaining.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll reach out to Mitch and see if we can make that happen for next week.
And maybe if we can get Mitch on here, people can send their websites and maybe their CVs or their YouTube channels, and he can share his screen and we can review them together and give us some of our insights.
Get some roasting going.
Yes, website roast, SaaS roast.
Yeah, that could be. That sounds like there could be a lot. Yeah, sounds like there could be a lot in there.
Yeah, I think we have some great people on Stage Change and on NoCode ProCode. I'll reach out in my community, and I would love if you could also reach out in your community if we can get some interesting guests, because this is really what makes a podcast interesting. It's always just us talking, and I think it's very interesting to have some different insights, like with Daniel, where you said, it's not meaningful to learn Xano, and he got a little bit, protective of Xano. I don't know if I should post that. I don't want to. I don't want Ray and Daniel to do to me what we all assume Family Guy is going to do to me.
I thought that was a fantastic conversation. In fact, I thought that exchange was actually sort of particularly useful for getting some core issues there. But yeah, we'll be doing more of that. I'll reach out and we'll do we'll get more into this marketing game and using technology to advance your marketing when we meet up again next week.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate that. And yeah, let's see who will be next time inside of here.
Excellent. Thank you all.